Howdy, howdy. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 14th of December 2012. One more week, folks. I will be on air next week, trust me. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How you doing? I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad that we are able to hang on to what sanity we have left. I got a lot to talk about. My first apology will go out to all of you. I don't have my Skype line open because I have a lot to share today. Right here on the Views Expressed. My apologies to not having my Skype open, okay? So, if you have a subject, if you want me to look at something or whatever, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Free America Radio on Facebook. And post all your questions there. Post everything there. If you're listening live, go to the chat room. Put in your question there. We'll talk about it. Also, pardon me while I get some water. You can tell my throat's a little screwed up. Yeah, okay, excuse me. I'm going to be clearing my throat all through the show, I know it. First of all, let me say to all the family, friends, and teachers and faculty members out at the elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut. My heart, prayers, positive thoughts, all positive energy goes to you in your time of need. If there is anything that anybody could do, please let us know. Email us here. Put it out on Facebook if you like. Whoever has a Facebook page from out in that area, let us know what you need. Let us know if there's anything we can do. Give us addresses. Give us telephone numbers, whatever. Put it on Facebook. You can put it on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook if you'd like. Do that as well. Also to the police and to the FBI and to all those people. We want this to, we want the answers. We want the answers. That's what we want. And honestly, we don't want anybody, and I do mean anybody, to even talk about suspending our Second Amendment rights. Period. Okay? Just letting all you law enforcement people know that. All right? So, in and of the news. Let's go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook and we'll check out the news. Again, if you have any questions, whatever subject you want to talk about, please put them on Free America Radio on Facebook. I'm going to go there and see if there's anything. Oh, and get this, from our area, from the Reno, Nevada area, near Reno, out in what is called Fallon, Nevada. That's where the Fallon Naval Air Station is. A boyfriend suspected of shooting Fallon woman in the face. Standoff ongoing. That is as of a little less than an hour, or a little more than an hour ago, excuse me. A lot of things going on. A man in China stabbed a lot of children, 22 children in a school. So, yeah, what is this with what's going on? Okay, what is going on? Okay, if those teachers in that elementary school were able to have a concealed weapon, well, I don't think that guy would have got 2 feet inside the door. Says here, update from ABC News. 20 children, 7 adults die in today's Newtown, Connecticut elementary massacre. Let's go to that link right now on Liberty and Freedom Network. As of 6:25 p.m. Eastern, Nancy Lanza, mother of gunman Adam Lanza, was found dead in her Connecticut home. The 20-year-old man shot her in the face, authorities told the ABC News. Following the murder of his mother, Lanza, carrying at least 2 semi-automatic pistols and an automatic rifle, drove to Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, where his mother worked. There he killed 20 children and 6 adults. Lanza was found dead in the school with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The rifle was found in his car, authorities say. Okay? And it goes down, update, 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 update. So that's so far, that is what they have. I want to say this. I don't know how much of the news, the alphabet soup of news organizations out there you can believe. Okay? Is there more to this? Well, I'm going to throw some speculation out there and say that check out the father who's still alive. Check out the brother who's still alive. Find out their connection to either black ops or psychologists who are connected with the military in that area. I'm just speculating. I don't have any hard evidence on that. Okay? Also, could this, I'm speculating again, could this be a young man not on his antidepressant medication? This is something, I'm just throwing it out there. Okay? Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. All right? So anyway, but here's the opposite end of this, folks. There is going to be tons of people calling for the eradication, abolishment, and suspension of the Constitution of the United States of America, particularly the Second Amendment. You know why? Listen to this. Celebrities demand outrageous gun laws following Connecticut shooting. Get ready for the full court press as the Hollywood minions and the media stand on soapboxes screaming to disarm Americans. Funny, none of them ever mentioned disarming the government. Even Rachel Wood wondered what it would take to disarm the American people, while singer Michelle Branch told quote-unquote gun control people that her quote-unquote heart is breaking. Quote, gun control is our only road to freedom, unquote, said actor Rashida Jones. Quote, freedom from the fear of senselessly losing children. I'm so saddened. We need laws now, unquote. Quote, gun control is no longer debatable. It's not a conversation. It's a moral mandate, unquote. Actor Mia Farrow, the former wife of Woody Allen, she tweeted that. Comedian Patton Oswalt addressed the Second Amendment with obscenity. With obscenity, folks. Quote, yeah, I'll wade right to the F into this. More gun control. More mental health services. It's no longer a debate. Never was, unquote. Quote, this year, Colorado movie theater, Oregon Mall, and now Connecticut school, unquote, tweeted actor Adam Shankman. Quote, how many innocents must die before we enforce more gun control, unquote. Let me read the article next to the picture. I'm going to read it all because there's figures in here. Put on your thinking caps, folks, because this is what it's all about. Kurt Nimmo over at InfoWars wrote this. In addition to Brit Piers Morgan and liberal filmmaker Michael Moore, a number of liberal celebrities have responded to the shooting in Connecticut with demands that Americans be stripped of their constitutional right to own firearms. Now, you can probably hear it in my voice. It is controlled rage. The wife of former Federal Reserve boss Andrea Mitchell calls for, quote, reasonable control, unquote, of the Second Amendment. America, quote, America likes guns the way the rest of the world likes soccer, unquote, tweeted comedian and current TV host John Fugelsang. Quote, guns don't kill people. People in states without gun purchase background checks and waiting periods kill people, unquote. Let me interject something, folks. I bought my weapon a few months ago. I was in and out in less than 5 minutes. This is an open carry state. I live in Nevada. You can, if you wish, have a concealed weapons permit. I choose not to. Continuing, Evan Rachel Wood wondered what it would take to disarm the American people, while singer Michelle Branch told gun control people that her heart is breaking. It is a demonstrable fact that tougher gun laws do not reduce crime. Let me interject this. 22 kids were hurt by a knife-wielding 36-year-old in China. And now, there's a standoff in Fallon because somebody shot their girlfriend in the face. It's demonstrable fact that tougher gun laws do not reduce crime. Background checks and laws against assault weapons and the possession of handguns will do little to prevent future mass shootings. Quote, no empirical study of the effectiveness of gun laws has shown any positive effect on crime, unquote. The NRA noted in 1996, quote, to the dismay of the prohibitionists, such studies have shown a negative effect. That is, in areas having greatest restrictions on private firearms ownership, crime rates are typically higher because criminals are aware that their intended victims are less likely to have the means with which to defend themselves. Unquote. The hand-wringing liberal celebrities quoted above are apparently allergic to fact. For instance, the fact that since the so-called assault weapons ban expired September 2004, murder and overall violent crime rates have declined. In 2003, the last full year before the law expired, the murder rate in the United States was 5.7 per 100,000 people. In 2011, the murder rate fell to 4.7 per 100,000 people. Gun-related homicide is falling as a record number of people buy firearms, not rising. Quote, crime rates alone of cities such as Chicago and Washington, D.C. prove that gun bans only increase crime, unquote. Ron Meyer wrote following the shooting in Aurora, Colorado. Quote, the D.C. police response rate is 8 minutes. Most crimes are done in less than 1. Gun bans create a trouble-free world of criminals considering no one can defend themselves. If I were ever to face a situation like this, I would want to be prepared, unquote. Unfortunately, nobody in the theater was prepared when the shooting started because Colorado has enacted strict gun laws. Liberals and anti-Second Amendment activists like to say gun violence is rampant in America because of lax gun laws. They fail to mention, however, that many countries with strict gun laws often experience mass shootings. For instance, 77 people were killed and more than 100 injured last year in Norway in a mass shooting. Anders Behring Breivik's rampage outside of Oslo was the worst mass murder rampage on record following the Second World War. It stands as an irrefutable testament to the fact that gun laws do not prevent mass murder. Germany has some of the strictest gun control laws on record, and yet it experienced 3 of the worst 5 multiple victim K-12 public school shootings in the world in the past decade. Despite the protest of celebrities and other vocal liberals, millions of Americans understand that owning and receiving training in the proper use of firearms is self-preservation and not a manifestation of a Yahoo gun culture. This was demonstrated again on Black Friday when gun sales hit an all-time record high. Quote, fueled by fears that Obama administration will go after gun rights during a lame duck term, the FBI reported 154,873 background check requests on Friday, a 20% increase on last year's record total of 129,166 checks. Paul Joseph Watson wrote that on November 27th. Quote, the number of guns sold could actually be double or more that figure because only one background check is recorded per sale, even if buyers purchase multiple firearms, unquote. This poses a larger problem for Obama, Michael Moore, and liberal celebrities who want guns to disappear. Either through law or confiscation, millions of Americans will not surrender their guns and are now stocking up as the government sends out repeated signals signals that it will attempt to roll back the Second Amendment and may sign a treaty declaring the possession of firearms an international crime. The UN Small Arms Treaty, Arms Trade Treaty. Go look it up, folks. I'm not sitting here spouting figures and numbers and who wrote an article and whatever without backing up the information. Okay? If you wanted to label me, I'm a constitutionalist. Am I liberal? No. Am I conservative? No. Am I nonpartisan? Yes. I'm a constitutionalist. My feet are firmly planted in a country I was born in. And the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are my rule of law. And are a rule of law which each and every single American should understand and follow. And with that in mind, each state needs to understand that the federal Constitution and the Bill of Rights overrides every single law that you have. Now, if you got some personal agendas that you want to push in your state because you want to hide certain things or you want to break certain laws or whatever it is you want to do, then you go right ahead and do that. But the rule of law is the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America, period. Ratified by Congress in Philadelphia in 1791. Or Washington, D.C., one of those two. I might be wrong on the location, but it was 1791. Okay? What's not to trust about that? What's not to trust about the Constitution being the rule of law? If the Second Amendment says I have a right to keep and bear arms, trust me, I will bear my arms. Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. All right? Just saying. Hey, I want to go to the Spreaker chat. I know I didn't take the break at the 5 after mark, but that's okay. I'll do it at the bottom of the hour. I had to get through that article because it's very important to understand what the opposition is. And the opposition is that fat bastard Michael Moore and that stupid Brit Piers Morgan on CNN. And let me tell you something directed to you gun control advocates and you anti-gun activists. Pardon my French here, folks. But to you people who want to abolish the Second Amendment, for you people who want more gun control, pack your shit and get out of my country. That's all I got to say about that. And if you ain't going to take a hint, by the way, guess what? 5 million background checks on people that bought guns in 1 month. Just about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. 5 million people. They know. I think we all know. I think we all know that something's wrong. And if the chills don't go up your spine, or if you don't get the goosebumps all over your body and start questioning things going on, I go like it's happening to me right now. If you ain't got that going on, buddy, you ain't seen what's happening. You haven't walked outside your door. You haven't talked to people I have talked to. Anyway, going to the Spreaker chat. Yeah, I'm a little upset because kids were killed. Hello. I had a niece that passed away. She has Down syndrome, but she was 11 when she passed away. And I used to work at a mortuary, so I saw a lot of kids. And I used to work closely with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office in Stockton, California, in San Joaquin County. And I saw a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, a lot of babies. Believe me, it gets to my heart. It tears me apart to see this happening. By the way, I grew up in Stockton, California. Back in the 80s, that guy came into an elementary school and shot up all those kids. So I got a personal feeling for this one. Okay? Spreaker chat, there's Daryl Dillard and Nick Larson. Nick Larson from That Radio Show right here on Spreaker.com. And, of course, Daryl Dillard. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate all the support, guys. You guys rock. So what do you think? Pop it in there, guys, in the chat room. If you're listening on, I do get notifications that there are listeners, by the way. If you're listening on the podcast, put your questions up on Free America Radio on Facebook. That's where I put all kinds of stuff up there too. But go to Free America Radio on Facebook and put your questions up there. Tell me what's on your mind. You can email the show here at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Ask me anything you like. You got articles you want put on the website. That's cool. I can do that too. If you have articles that you want, you can put it on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. That's cool. So, speaking of which, let's go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Let's check that out. What I just read to you, not only, the odd behavior that this kid had, but also the celebrities demanding that outrageous gun laws follow, Connecticut shooting. That's all up there. You can go read that for yourself. From secretsofthefed.com, gun grabbers call for murder of NRA president, supporters in wake of mass shooting. Hello? Do you people understand? Do you understand the insanity in all of this? The gun grabbers are out there going, "Give me your guns. We don't want the Second Amendment." Trust me. You got a right to free speech, and guess what? I got a right to carry my weapon to protect your right to free speech. Can you grab that? Can you twist on that thinking cap you got and realize that one for a minute? I don't know. It's just Nick says, I must be the odd man out. I'm a moderate liberal, but I'm pro-Second Amendment. Hallelujah. Give you a virtual high five there. I'm nonpartisan, so I'm nonpartisan in terms of none of the parties know what the hell they're doing. They're screwing us up left and right. It doesn't really matter. We shouldn't have parties anyway. But go check that out. Secretsofthefed.com. Gun grabbers call for murder of NRA president, supporters in wake of mass shooting. Following the horrific Connecticut school massacre that left 28 dead this morning, Twitter began trending with people blaming the National Rifle Association and the Second Amendment and not the person with free will who committed the atrocity for the tragedy. Some people went so far as to openly call for the murder of the NRA President David Keene and any NRA supporter. One person here tweeted, someone should shoot this MFer NRA President David Keene, weighs in on 2012 election, okay? Angry Democrat says gun control will exist when some nut job chooses to exercise their Second Amendment rights at the NRA headquarters instead of a school or a theater. Wolfgang Mozart, I know that's not his real name, Listen to Amadeus said, if you belong to the NRA, then you should have to shoot your kids. That's what he said, not me. Kyle Mitchell tweeted, how about just once one of these terrorists try and shoot up an NRA meeting instead of a defenseless people? And it goes on and on and on and on. You can click on the link there on Liberty and Freedom Network. Gun grabbers call for murder of NRA president. Supporters in wake of mass shooting. How's this for hypocritical? Condemns 12/14/12 Connecticut shooting. Quote, those people who died today were children, beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them, birthdays, graduations, wedding, kids of their own, unquote. That's from President Obama. And then down the picture says, a little caption on the picture of him says, orders drone strikes in Pakistan which kill over 150 children. I got to put this out there. This is my opinion from my perspective. So I'm going to put this out there. If a person even implies or even comes close to even saying a threatening word that supporters of the Second Amendment need to be killed, that person needs to be arrested and thrown in prison. Okay? That's just my point of view, from my perspective. That's all. Nick Larson agrees with me on getting rid of the parties. We need a we the people party. We need an American party. We don't need Democrats or Republicans, or as Jesse Ventura would say, Democrats and Republicans. Okay? We need to cut our losses. Okay? And Daryl says the duopoly has set forth an anti-Constitution agenda. Bingo, Daryl. Bingo. Nick says, I just believe the feds should help out the states with Social Security, food stamps, and such, but believe the states should be able to control what laws they pass. Yeah, they do that now, but if it's a law that Washington, D.C. doesn't like, guess what? They come in and go, we'll just take away we'll limit your road funds, your construction funds. We'll eliminate some of the the organizations in your state. You want to talk about a mafia blackmailing everybody? That Washington, D.C. is the main godfather of the mafia, and they're blackmailing all these other states into doing what they want. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do about it? Sue me. Nick Larson said, without the feds sticking their nose into the state's business, I totally agree. I'm pro 10th Amendment. Me too. Hello. States have a right to say, look, Washington, D.C. is up to their eyeballs in insanity. We don't want any part of that. By the way, people of every single state need to rally around your governor's mansion or the governor's office, city council, county board of supervisors, and demand a constitutional convention. Demand that, and also demand that the state invoke their 10th Amendment right. By the way, I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but I've got right here the Bill of Rights from constitutionfacts.com. Right here, here's what the 10th Amendment says, verbatim. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. If it ain't in the Constitution, I would even go this far. If the states are not following the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, then their governors need to be held responsible. Okay? But if they are following the Constitution, then they need to demand that Washington, D.C. allow the states to pull away from the federal government. Not totally secede. You know what secede means, right? That's what happened when Confederate President Jefferson Davis in the South and Abraham Lincoln in the North, Union President Abraham Lincoln in the North, were fighting about secession along with some other things that were going on. And a lot of the southern states went, no, we don't, no, we're going to, they were fighting secession because the South wanted to be their own place. There's a lot of reasons for that, but that's what happened. And look what President Abraham Lincoln did. Isn't that wonderful? Declared martial law. Wow. Anyway, I can go back and tell you all kinds of history. let me just say this. I'm pro-Constitution and Bill of Rights. I'll just lay that out for you. We need to repeal a couple of them, but that's, that's okay. We repealed the 18th. Why not? The experts. I got a picture up there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. In 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control. From 1929 to 1953, about 20 million dissidents unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. 1911, Turkey established gun control. From 1915 to 1917. 1.5 million Armenians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Germany established gun control in 1938. And from 1939 to 1945, a total of 13 million Jews and others who were unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. I'll continue that here in a bit. Hey, if you want to email the show, you can, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com, or just go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, follow it, subscribe, go from there. I'm missing my break, so here it is. I shall return. This is The Views Expressed, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Have you heard about a show called Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri? It's a talk show. Well, it's called Grab Bag Potpourri for a reason. They talk about everything under the sun, from education to politics, from lines at the cashier in the stores to parking lot drivers not paying attention. You want real radio? Well, you don't get any more real than that. That's Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of fun.
We went to the streets to ask people, what do you like about Doc FM?
Oh, well, I think he's sexy. He has a very sexy voice, and he makes my headphones tingle.
I think the doctor is very smart. Everything he tells you, you must learn it, because it is smartness to know. Plus, he plays my favorite music. He plays like the 80s and the 70s and the 44s and the 62s.
J'ai pas eu une seule occasion de rester sans rien faire depuis que je suis arrivé à Camelot. Je suis trop occupé à courir derrière Arthur. Fais ci Merlin, fais ça Merlin. Et quand je cours pas derrière Arthur, je fais des corvées pour vous. Et quand je fais pas ça, j'accomplis mon...
Doc FM on Spreaker.com.
Well, it's no secret that Doctor won't play none of that countrified music, so I don't really listen to him that much, but when I do, it's a hold down. The first time that I listened to the Doctor, he was making fun of the British. After I got over my attitude, I came back and listened to him. He's wonderful and raucous.
Listen to Doc FM every Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Central, right here on Spreaker.com.
Alrighty, folks. Alrighty. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 14th of December, 2012. Wow, we got one more week before the Mayan calendar runs out. Yippee. I'll be on air, by the way. Hey, let's get down to business here. I wanted to give you the what I thought about the differences between the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and this other little document I got sitting in front of me called the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. By the way, another radio host asked me about this. He called in yesterday, and I gave him what it was all about. So that was kind of nice. I'm glad he asked. But what's the difference between the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights ratified by the United Nations on the 10th of December, 1948? Well, a lot. And there's a lot of subtlety in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but there's a lot of things that you need to look at and read between the lines and really investigate and go look this stuff up. Okay. And let me give you just the basics of the Constitution of the United States first. Now, of course, we all know that it starts out with, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America." Now, that was 1791. Okay? Now, the first part, the first article in there, says the Constitution gives power of making laws to Congress. Well, let's go look at the first article of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It also says in the Constitution, Congress shall consist of two houses, a Senate and a House, and it goes on from there. Okay? Talks about the Senate, talks about the privileges and rights of Congress, lawmaking, powers of Congress. So I'll get into that here in a bit. But the first article, I'm not going to read the whole preamble of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights because it's long. But the first article says in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, "All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and they are endowed with reason and conscience, and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood." Kind of sounds like a utopian fascist society, maybe? It's got to remember it's the United Nations, which was the League of Nations prior to 1947. Okay? Or 1945, excuse me. So, okay, that's cool, right? So, let's go to the second article of the Constitution of the United States, and I will tell you what that says. Basically, it says, now these two don't relate. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Constitution, they don't relate, but there are some things that are similar, except that there is a broader view in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And I'll get into that reasoning here in a bit. 2 words: Agenda 21. Okay, the second article in the Constitution says the Constitution gives the executive power to the president. The term of the president is 4 years. Okay? By the way, a president must be a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the U.S. at the time of the adoption of the Constitution. A president must also be at least 35 years old and a resident within the United States for 14 years. In case the president is removed from office, is unable to carry out the duties of the office, or dies, the vice president shall act as president. The person running for president, has to be at least 35 and an American citizen. Joel Gilbert, Dreams of My Real Father. The compelling evidence to the fact that Barack Obama is not an American citizen. His father, Frank Marshall Davis, known and on record as being a communist. Okay? Now let me just reiterate there, a little side note for this. I could be wrong about Frank Marshall Davis. Just saying. Now, let's skip down through the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and go to Article 10. Okay? Excuse me, Article 11, there's 2 points. Now, if you commit a crime, you got to do the time, right? And you go before the court and a jury and, all right, okay. We all know that. I spent a lot of time with law enforcement people, so I know. Article 11 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, ratified by the United Nations the 10th of December 1948, says, the number one thing here, says everyone charged with a penal offense has a right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law. Get this. In a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. What about those people in Guantanamo Bay? Number 2, no one shall be held guilty of any penal offense on account of any act or omission which did not constitute a penal offense under national or international law at the time when it was committed, nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offense was committed. In other words, you ran a stoplight and I got to give you a ticket, but you ran a stoplight, but you skidded your tires and you almost hit somebody. So I'm gonna say you hit somebody. You can't do that under this, okay? But let me jump down through here because there's a couple of points I want to make before the top of the hour break. I read through this a couple of times. So if you want to go to the past episodes of this, I've read this thing in its entirety. So if you want to hear that, that's fine. It's either yesterday or the day before. It's either yesterday in part 2, if anybody cares. Mobster Boss Radio called in, and I appreciate the fact that they called in. That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. Great. I hope things... I'm glad they called in. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm glad they called in. That was JD and Sonny over at Mobster Boss Radio. MobsterBossRadio.com. Article number, I believe it was, let me look through here just a second. Number 18. Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article number 18 is an interesting one. Check this out. Everyone has a right to freedom of thought, conscience, religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, or observance. Okay, if all the Muslim countries, and this includes Turkey, if all the Muslim countries are supposed to be following this, then why are they having honor killings? Yeah, fathers are tracking down their daughters or whatever, and they're killing them. Why? Because it's against our religion that you went from being Muslim to being Christian. We've got to... hello? Muslim countries, Article 18, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone has a right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in a community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, or observance. Hello. There you go. Okay? I have to admit, I've read stories, heard stories where Muslims are being held and imprisoned because they went out and killed their own family member because they changed religions. Okay, so the law is working, apparently. But here's a couple that I just want to highlight because it's very important to understand what the UN is all about. The United Nations is not so much, we're going to allow the... No. By the way, President Obama sits on the Security Council on the United Nations, which is against the law, by the way. Yeah. The current, soon-to-be former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta said to Senator Sessions at one point in a hearing about us going, the military going into Syria and going into Libya. Senator Sessions asked, hey, basically the gist of it was Senator Sessions said that, Congress has to approve this, movement of military into these countries. Leon Panetta, thumbed his nose at that and went, no, we're going to talk to, here's what Leon Panetta said, we're going to talk to the international community, and then we'll come to Congress and mention it to you. In other words, the UN controls our military. Okay? I'm just saying, a little side note there, a little something. But here's what I want to tell you. Articles 28, 29, and 30 of the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone is entitled to a social and... Pay attention. Article 28, United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration can be fully realized. Do it our way or be punished. There is an international order. The Pope even said that we need an international order. Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister of England, said that we need an international financial order. Not those words, but something generally, in line with that. We are living in the days of the New World Order. George Bush, in his speech, King Bush I, in his speech to Congress, mentioned it. If you were alive back then or were aware of it back then, he said, we need a new world order. Matter of fact, before I even go any farther, let me play you the clip, shall I? Listen to our wonderful George H.W. Bush, okay? Just check this out.
Of its founders.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There you go, right there in the words of President George H.W. Bush. Have the chills gone up your back yet? Has your mind been blown? Or as Glenn Beck would say, has blood been spurting out of your eyes? Article 29 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Number 1. Everyone has duties to the community in which alone the free and full development of his personality is possible. Number 2, in the exercise of his rights and freedoms, everyone shall be subject only to such limitations that are determined by law solely for the purpose of securing due recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others and of meeting the just requirements of morality, public order, and the general welfare in a democratic society. Number 3, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Article 30, nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group, or persons any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. Now, I just highlighted some of the stuff. I've read this thing in entirety on either Wednesday's broadcast or Tuesday's broadcast. But I wanted to highlight those things because the Constitution of the United States of America literally spells out what Washington D.C. can and cannot do. Excuse me. Let me look here. I gotta look through this thing again. Holy crap. So disorganized at times. The fourth article of the Constitution of the United States of America is this. The Constitution forbids the states to make a treaty or an alliance with a foreign country, to issue paper money, to keep contracts from being carried out, to grant titles of nobility. Congress also is not allowed to do this. To levy this. Now get this. The Constitution forbids the states to levy taxes on imports or exports, to keep troops or ships of war in times of peace, to go to war without a consent of Congress. Hello? Article number 5. It shows, that if you want to amend any of the articles, you got to go through Congress. Excuse me. Congress, by a 2/3 vote, can propose an amendment. Okay? And we all know that from history class, social studies, right? Sorry, man, my nose. It's just, my sinuses have been acting up today. Not allergies, it's just everyday dust. Number 5, to change or amend the Constitution, 2 ways are provided. A, Congress by a 2/3 vote can propose an amendment. B, a convention, how about a constitutional convention in your states? A convention can be called by 2/3 of the states to propose amendments. In either case, 3/4 of the state legislatures must approve the change before it becomes part of the Constitution. Now, my view of what has happened, my opinion of the opinions of those who are against the Second Amendment, my view about people like Andrea Mitchell over at MSNBC, fat bastard Michael Moore, all those folks. My view is this. And Nick, if you're still hanging out in the chat, you heard me on another little short show I did earlier today. So if I repeat something, my apologies. My view on these people who don't want the Second Amendment, who want to control our guns, who really are more apt to align themselves with the Illuminati and with the New World Order, need to realize one very important factor about the people of this country, and that is this. We are armed. Okay? What are you going to do? Run to the coattails of your fascist president and all his people? Stand behind the wall of those minions? Of the warriors of Mordor? Yeah, you guys saw Lord of the Rings, haven't you? Think about this just in a general sense. My dear friends who are against the Constitution and the Second Amendment and all those who are for gun control, chew on this for a second. You don't have a leg to stand on, but, you also have freedom of speech. As long as I am armed, I will protect your freedom of speech, even though I may disagree with it, even though I may think you're a dumbass, even though I may think that you're implying that I'm a racist. You have a freedom of speech that I will help you protect. If you don't like your guns, put them down. I'll pick them up. I'll pick them up. My friends will pick them up. The supporters of the Second Amendment will pick them up, and we'll help defend you and your freedom of speech. But I sure as hell don't want you and your people to come to my door and tell me through government mandates that I have to give up my weapons. That will never happen. To echo the words of Charlton Heston when he was at the NRA meeting, you can have my guns when you pry them out of my cold, dead hands. So Michael Moore, you little, not little anymore, huh? You're a fat bastard just like you've always been. You liberal piece of garbage. And everybody over at MSNBC, anybody on the freaking propaganda machines we call mainstream media. You people make me want to throw up. We need tougher gun control laws. You need to shut your damn pie hole, dear Andrea Mitchell. Shut the hell up. Yeah, I'm a little angry, can you tell? Well, let me put it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way. You're in your home. You're with your kids. You're there watching TV, and your kids may be watching SpongeBob SquarePants. And all of a sudden, you hear this on your door, and you go to answer it, you open the door, and in come dozens of black-suited, jackbooted stormtroopers grabbing you and your kids and hauling them off, and you off to a FEMA camp somewhere. Just imagine that somebody already did imagine that. MTV. It's on YouTube. I may put up the link on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook later. Yes, they had commercials. 2 of them that I remember, where it showed exactly that. A family sitting in their living room. Father in the chair reading the paper, and knock came at the door. And military police came in and rounded them up and put them in a truck. And the commercial faded into the truck, faded to the picture of a truck from Nazi Germany carrying people off to internment camps. So you people out there that don't want the Second Amendment, you people out there that want gun control, you go talk to Stalin. You go talk to Hitler. You go talk to, Pol Pot. How'd that work out for him, huh? You go talk to any society that put gun regulations and restrictions on their people. How did that work out for you? Oh, by the way, go to China. Talk to this 36-year-old man that went into a school with a knife and injured 22 people. It's up there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Go check that out. Huh? What are you going to do? Ban all knives now? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You anti-constitutional people make me sick. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. I see false flag event in this Connecticut shooting in Newtown. I see this whole thing as a false flag event. I do. I just got that feeling. This kid may not have been on his meds, but I'm speculating as I did earlier. Check out the connections his father has, his mother has. Check them out. I'm just speculating. I don't have any evidence to back that up. I'm just saying, okay? We're going to go to the bottom of the hour break. We are going to We're going to take a small break, and we shall return. This is the Liberty and Freedom Network. I am Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You're listening to The Views Expressed, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host, Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a Journey into Light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Howdy. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You are listening to The Views Expressed right here for the 14th of December 2012. How y'all doing today? Yes, we have had a lot of problems. Hey, if you got me in the first hour, I gave you my opinions and a little bit of a breakdown of some documents I have, so you might want to check that part of the show out as well. But this is the second and final hour of the show. First of all, all my prayers and positive thoughts and good energy go to the family and friends of the people in Newtown, Connecticut. And and all of my thoughts and negative energy, no, I shouldn't say negative. I have my opinions on those people that want to take our guns away. I have my opinions on those people like Michael Moore and all those folks. And, just really, the douchebags that want to take away our gun rights. The information that you can follow along if you want to follow along. The information I'll be talking about is on Liberty and Freedom Network. I see a couple of people in the Spreaker chat. Hello, Nick Larson from That Radio Show on Spreaker.com. That radio show is on, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, Friday and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? So also, there's Daryl Dillard in the chat room. Haven't seen him in a while. Thank you guys for showing up and supporting the show. Just showing up in the chat room and saying hi is you're supporting it. I mean, you know. But if you want to help out, keep it on and keep it going and keep the website up and all that, go to the website, freeamericaradio.wix.com/the views expressed. And over on the left-hand side, down at the bottom, you'll see a donate button. You can donate as much as you like. All that does is keep the website up and the show going. I got a store there. And the store has Liberty and Freedom Network merchandise. So if you want to promote your patriotism and support Liberty and Freedom Network, hey, check out the store on the website. On the right-hand side of the webpage, you'll see a book, Many Directions of Man. It's up in the upper right-hand corner. And that's a book I wrote. Just my observations of what life is and some solutions, possible solutions. So you might want to check that out. A third edition of that book is coming out soon as I start writing it. Since I'm not beholden to any publisher or literary agent, I can write it whenever I want. But I have to get the third edition out. There's more information, which I found, more information that I'd like to share. And again, possible solutions. That's freeamericaradio.wix.com/the views expressed. So, anyway, yes, Nick confirmed. That radio show, Friday, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. So anyway, yes, this whole thing in Connecticut, I'm telling you, there are some anti-gun people out there who are going to go crazy over this and say we need to abolish the Second Amendment. My response to them is get the hell out of my country. It's my country, your country, our country, yes, okay, but if you're so passionate about getting rid of the Constitution, you can just pack your crap and go elsewhere. But for those people, as I said in the first hour, before the top of the hour, I reiterated my feelings. And that is, you have a right, you anti-gun people, have a right to say what you say. I have a right, a Second Amendment right, to carry my weapon to protect your First Amendment right. So get over it, jackass. Okay? I'm serious, okay? Yes, I cussed. Big flippin' deal. I really think that people who do not look into an issue deep enough or with the intent of gleaning the information out to learn something, I think is they're a dumbass. I'm sorry. They are. Seriously. Hey, go to Liberty and Freedom Network. I read a few of these before the top of the hour break. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Sorry, didn't mean to... kind of missed that a little bit. Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. It's too much caffeine, folks. Scroll on down, you'll see a picture of Obama, of Herr Obama, condemns 12-14-12 Connecticut shooting. Gives his little quote there, but down at the bottom of the picture it says, orders drone strikes in Pakistan which kill over 150 children. So, yeah, talk about hypocrisy. Go down, Kevin Kelso's photo is of Hitler, Castro, Patel, Stalin, Idi Amin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, and Kim Jong-il. A little caption up there says, in 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control, and from 1929 to 1953, about 20 million dissidents unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. 1911, Turkey established gun control. From 1915 to 1917, 1.5 million Armenians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Germany established gun control in 1938, and from 1939 to 1945, a total of 13 million Jews and others were unable to defend themselves and were rounded up and exterminated. China established gun control in 1935, and from 1948 to 1952, 20 million political dissidents unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Guatemala established gun control in 1964, and from 1964 to 1981, 100,000 Mayan Indians unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Uganda established gun control in 1970, and from 1971 to 1979, 300,000 Christians were unable to defend themselves and were rounded up and exterminated. Cambodia established gun control in 1956, and from 1975 to 1977, 1 million educated people unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. Defenseless people rounded up and exterminated in the 20th century because of gun control, 56 million. Got it? You understand what's happening here, folks? Oh, you don't? Well, let me read this little article that is posted on Liberty and Freedom Network from Doc Thompson, a radio personality that sits in for Glenn Beck every so often. And this is from, as soon as the webpage comes up, from politicalinsider.blogs.mydessert.com. Let's put in Political Insider. Senator Barbara Boxer calls for, quote-unquote, sensible gun laws. U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer has just issued a statement after today's mass shooting, a school shooting in Connecticut. Quote, my heart breaks over this senseless tragedy that took so many innocent lives. My prayers go out to their families and to all those that were injured, said Boxer at a Rancho Mirage Democrat who is scheduled to tour the Salton Sea this afternoon. Quote, this touches us so deeply, and it is long past that we enacted sensible gun laws and school safety legislation. A commenter here says, Senator Boxer, gun laws will not stop this unless the law makes sure schools and other places have armed guards so they can shoot the killer before he shoots innocent people, or at the very least, stop him before he does more damage. Another commenter says, ban guns so only the gang members can have them? Yeah. Another one replying to that said, don't get your panties in a wad. Nobody with a brain would ever want to totally ban guns, but we need to try to make sure dangerous people don't get them. Excuse me? Excuse me? That would mean we would have to profile people. See how insane it gets? You understand how far beyond sensible this becomes? Let me try to be the voice of reason here. Oh, by the way, little side note, since I said sensible and reasonable. Little side note, there's been some back and forth little junior high arguments going on. There, on Spreaker, there's been some things said and hosts pissed and this and that. With everything going on in the country, let me say this, and the world, and the United States having a 17 or $16 trillion debt that we're never ever going to be able to pay no matter what, and the shooting in Colorado and now in Connecticut and Oregon and all over the world, and a knife-wielding man hurting 22 kids in China. With all that stuff going on, let me focus your attention on one little thing, folks, hosts here on Spreaker. There's more to worry about than your damn egos, okay? Just shut the hell up. There's a lot more going on that needs to be paid attention to than all this, whatever. Stop. Okay? Just stop. I tell people all the time, if you don't like what I say, if you don't like my show, go listen to something else. Or Spreaker has some great plans. Go check those out. Have your own show. Talk about whatever you want. I have respect for people that hold me accountable. I have respect for people who actually sit down and have a civil conversation with me instead of sitting there and implying that I'm a racist or anything like that. This is ridiculous. Hello, we got more things to deal with. I'm not going to stroke your ego, folks. And if you have a problem with that, not my problem. There's bigger issues to deal with. Bigger issues. So cut the crap. And understand that this country is going into the hole. As I like to say, it's already in the toilet. They're just waiting for somebody to push the handle. So the fact of the matter is here are these anti-gun people going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to say, well, it's not about that. I agree with Nick Larson. It deals with school safety, period. On that, on that front right there. But what about this? What about parents? Hello, parents. What about parents? I was a step-parent for quite a while. What about parents? Alex Jones, who I listen to every day, takes his 10-year-old son out, and he has said it. He, when Alex Jones was younger, learned about guns when he was young and grew up with them in Texas. When you show the child a gun, my dad did the same thing to me. I went to a safety class when I was younger. I was like 12, 13 years old. Okay? I understand the responsibility that any gun owner should have. Does that mean that we need to be profiled and have a psychological examination before we, and a 15-day waiting period before we even own a gun? No. No. 5 days is good enough. Hell, when I got my weapon here recently, I walked in, signed the papers, gave him my ID. 5 minutes later, I was out the door. That's pretty much what happened, because I live in an open carry state. By the way, statistics show that gang members in Nevada go to California, get their illegal guns, bring them back here, and, well, there you go. Or the other way around. They're legal here to have, so people get them from other states, pretty much from Mexico too. Fast and Furious, you heard of that? And ship them to California to the MS-13 gangs and all the street gangs up there. Go look it up. It's right there. CBS News, just go look it up. So, what is my response to the Constitution that says that I have a right to keep and bear arms? One word. Actually, it's a phrase. Amen and pass the ammo. And to all you gun advocates out there, all you gun control advocates, let's make it specific. I don't have a problem with you people. I have a problem with you telling me I have to give up my rights for your little stupid little egos that were hurt because, we don't need guns. Well, shut the hell up. Stifle it, Edith. You know what I mean? Quit your bitching, will you? You got every right to say what you say until it crosses that line, gun control advocates, to where you're telling me I have to give up my right. No. Do the letters F-O mean anything to you? And all you anti-gun activists, we don't need the Second Amendment. Hello, my ex-wife. Alex, I'll take stupidity for 1,000, please. You have absolutely no idea what you're saying, you anti-gun activists. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. With knives and baseball bats and rocks and pitchforks and... yeah. Talk out of the side of your mouth again there, genius. I got no problem with people. Understand me. Let me make this clear. I don't have a problem with people, okay? I have a problem with stupid people, with ignorant people, with people trying to tell me I have to give up my rights because their stupid ass can't stand the fact that, hey, wait for it, we're right. I can't stand a person who says that I have to give up my rights because George Washington was was a Mason. Excuse me, what does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? George Washington, worst general on the face of the planet until he crossed the Potomac. But, well, back then, they had flintlocks. They had all that. Yeah, but in 1791, the authors and signatories of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights understood at that time that everyone had a right to protect themselves. What, you going to go back and say that wasn't true? How about, I can do it again right here. I got it sitting right in front of me here. Second Amendment, Bill of Rights, Constitution of the United States of America. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Hey, governors of all 50 states, how about that? Huh? You're violating the Constitution of the United States of America. I will take you to the Supreme Court and stand on the Second Amendment every single time. Okay? Just saying. So yeah, we have the ability we have the ability to stand up and say enough's enough. We have the ability to go to the city council meetings that are open to the public. I don't know when those are in your area. You may want to check the schedule on that. We have the right and the ability to stand in that council chamber and disagree with what is happening. By the way, when you go there, talk to them about getting the sodium fluoride out of the water, because that's killer. Go look on links on Liberty and Freedom Network. Read it yourself on Facebook. Go ahead. Tell the city council that they want, that you demand as a citizen of that state and of that city, that they take the GMOs, eradicate those, just get rid of Monsanto out of your whole freaking state. Other countries are doing it. They're telling Monsanto, get the hell out. We don't want you. Tell the food manufacturing companies you get that? Food manufacturing companies in your state that you want BHT and high fructose corn syrup out of your foods. Okay? Go look up the specs on those things, man. I just saw a report out of New Zealand that said that fetus tissue or something of that nature, aborted fetal tissue, is used as a enhancer in soft drinks. Have you heard that? I heard that. How does that make you feel when you drink your Mountain Dew or your Pepsi? Hey, Chris Top, like your Mountain Dew? I mean, go look it up. Go look it up. Hey, a couple of people. Nick Larson said he hopes he's not one of those hosts. No. You're not. You know who I'm talking about. And, of course, the one and only Guy Shea is in the chat. Hello, Guy. How you doing? Give me the days and time of your show, and I'll tell everybody about it, Guy, if you're still hanging around. And I'll go check out what you said on the wall. But, yeah, we have a right to stand up and say, we don't want that in our foods, in our water, whatever. We also have a right to stand up to all these anti-gun activists, these gun control advocates, and say, no, you guys are stupid. We're standing on the Second Amendment. You don't like it? Tough. Pack your crap. Get the hell out of our country. Oh, I'm sure Mexico or Canada or Russia or China would love to have your citizenship. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. This is a country that was built on the backs of slaves. Yeah, one of my American Indian friends said it perfectly and agreed with an assessment that I had many years ago, but said it perfectly to me and validated what I already knew. My Native American friend said this: this is the greatest country the white man has ever stolen. Yeah. We killed millions of people and then we said, oh, we founded this country. No, we didn't. We founded it on the principle of getting rid of a tyrannical government like the British monarchy. Hello? And then we decided we needed a constitution. So when we won the War of Independence in 1776, oh, by the way, 7 months before that, Thomas Paine wrote a book called Common Sense, or wrote a thing called Common Sense. Yeah, go check that out. 15 years after the War of Independence, we established a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. I mean, what's that old saying? You don't know what's against the law until you break the law? Kind of like that, right? But see, we took that from British influence. The Bill of Rights is loosely based on the complete Magna Carta from the British Isles in, I think it was 1215 or something like that. And the Constitution and all of the things that we talk about that we have formed within that came from certain ideas, wait for it, from the Native Americans that were here, that we damn near wiped off the face of the planet. So don't give me this crap that this country was formed any other way except through extortion and murder, okay? The reason why our founding fathers are as popular as they are is because they beat 2% of the citizens back then, beat the biggest army of that time, the British Empire Army. Hello. We kicked some major butt, okay? We took it away from British rule because the 13 colonies were set up by British trade and all that because they wanted to trade here. And so they set up these colonies that were here. And there were 13 of them. Go look in New England. You'll still see the signs that say Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Rhode Island, Commonwealth of Connecticut, whatever. You'll still see it. It's still there. Oh my God. Hey folks, take a 2.5 minute break here. Don't want to pass this break up. It's at the bottom of the hour. Hey, if you got to do what you got to do, go do what you got to do. Be 2.5 minutes. I shall return. This is the Views Expressed, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. That is from 1984 by George Orwell. Do you really want to know what's going on? Come listen to The Views Express, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Samo Radio, playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com. Yes, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You want to email the show, you can at Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Go to the website, freeamericaradio.wix.com/The Views Expressed. We shall return right after this. Howdy. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 14th of December, 2012. We got one more week, folks. My own calendar runs out next week. Ooh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Going to be a big old meteor coming at the Earth or what? We're going to hop on that UFO behind Halley's Comet. Remember? Oh, man. I don't know. Chances are you're going to hear a lot of things on December 22nd, maybe that, the night of December 21st, 2 words, Heaven's Gate. Okay, just saying. Okay, one last thing here I want to talk about, Second Amendment. You'll see a picture on Liberty and Freedom Network, Gun Free Zone, says, because it worked so well at Virginia Tech, Arkansas State, Northern Illinois University, Louisiana Tech, University of Memphis, Delaware State University, twice, South Mountain Community College, University of Iowa, San Diego State, Appalachian School of Law, University of Arizona, Shepherd University, Bard College, Case Western Reserve University, Penn State, Fairleigh Dickinson University, University at Central Arkansas, University of Alabama at Huntsville. You can go to concealedcampus.org to see what's over there as well. Liberty and Freedom Network is where you will get most of the stories. Oh, by the way, the one I said about the something being in the soft drinks, in the sports drinks. How about this one? Gatorade. Everybody's had Gatorade, haven't we? Well, a hot day, we're sweating like a pig, right? You've drank Gatorade. There's a picture up here of a 15-year-old girl with Gatorade in her hand. And the caption reads, Gatorade, don't put flame retardant chemicals in sports drinks. 15-year-old is taking on the soft drink giant and winning 200,000 signatures so far. Sarah Kavanaugh, 15, yay. Hattiesburg, Mississippi started an online petition asking PepsiCo to change Gatorade's formula. Sarah, a dedicated vegetarian, did what she often does and checked the label to make sure no animal products were in the drink. One ingredient, brominated vegetable oil, caught her eye. Brominated. Vegetable oil. Quote, she said, I knew it probably wasn't from an animal because it had a vegetable in the name, but I still wanted to know what it was, so I Googled it, unquote. Ms. Kavanaugh said, quote, a page popped up with a long list of possible side effects, including neurological disorders and altered thyroid hormones. I didn't expect that, unquote. She threw the product away and started a petition at change.org, a nonprofit website that has almost 200,000 signatures. Ms. Kavanaugh, 15, hopes her campaign will persuade PepsiCo, Gatorade's maker, to consider changing the drink's formulation. Quote, BVO is banned in other places in the world, so these companies already have a replacement for it, unquote. She said, I don't see why they don't just make the switch. Okay. There's an article that you can read right next to the picture. Just click on the picture, go to it, and there it is. There she blues. Yeah, brominated vegetable oil. Yeah. Much like BHT and some of your boxed cereals. And if you look on some of the breads, most of the breads anymore that you get in the store, you look on the ingredients, it'll say high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, go look that one up. You'll be quite amazed how damaging those chemicals truly are, including BHT. Do we eat cereal every day? Yeah, the makers of Cheerios now genetically modify the wheat going in there. Yes, it bioaccumulates, folks, and you'll wind up maybe in the 60s or 70s with liver problems or kidney problems. Okay, I don't know. I got to look that up myself. I'm just saying. Hey, I want to remind folks that Mr. Nick Larson has a show. It's a wonderful little show. They talk about everything. You think I talk about a lot of stuff. Boy, oh boy. In the 3 hours he does his show, he goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's a great show. That radio show with host Nick Larson, and he may have a few other people tagging along on that show, so who knows. Anyway, check it out. Fridays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I'm going to read this that I wrote earlier. With this tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, just watch all the anti-gun lobbyists and gun control advocates push for a total elimination of the Second Amendment. If that doesn't work, or won't happen, watch for the president after January 20th sign an executive order limiting the Second Amendment even further. Most states are open carry states. What we, the people, have to do is invoke our Second Amendment rights and demand our leaders to stand on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights or be voted out in the next election cycle. Seems reasonable to me. Is it reasonable to you? John Sovas, a Facebook person who posts a lot, said this: attention, all who support gun control. You're preaching the same nonsense that Hitler, Stalin, Mao, and many other evil politicians spew. Granted, some have good intentions at heart, but you must at some point remove your head from your arse and think about this. You can ban these weapons all you want. But what you are not realizing is that it will only affect those who obey the law. Criminals and crazy people break the existing laws, and passing more laws isn't going to stop anything. Who are you more likely to attack or try and kill? Someone who is armed or someone who is unarmed? Pretty easy question, isn't it? Someone who is unarmed. If everyone is armed, who's going to try and attack and kill someone when they know that there is a good chance they have a weapon to defend themselves with? You people seem to think that morality and character can somehow be legislated, but it has yet to work. Dictators and criminals love gun control for these very reasons. It makes their chances of committing their crimes better. Let's not make things easier for these sick people and arm yourself and get the education of properly handling a firearm. You have the right to self-defense, whether from a crazed person and or a dictator gone amok. Okay? Technocrats turning fiat into property as global financial crisis continues. Okay? You people have kids? Check this one out. Liberty and Freedom Network. I've got this link up there you might want to check out. Hershey, Pennsylvania. A new mother refused to inject her hours-old infant with an STD vaccine developed for adults. A social worker was then sent to her hospital room where she was interrogated about what she preferred and why she preferred natural health care treatments. When her answers weren't satisfactory to the social worker, a uniformed police officer came to assist in seizing the infant from its mother. Just saying. The link is on there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check that out. If you would, please. Thank you very much. Scroll on down. NSA whistleblower. Everyone in the U.S. under virtual surveillance. All information stored, no matter the post. And that comes from RT. They're interviewing... now that the page flipped. They're interviewing William Binney, whistleblower and former NSA crypto mathematician who served in the agency for decades. Folks, we're not playing games here. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. We're not playing games here anymore. The New World Order is here. The North American Union has been created. The Trans-Texas Corridor and the roads, thank you, Rick Perry, he sold that project off to a Spanish company, creating toll roads out of nowhere and putting toll roads on existing roads. Trans-Texas Corridor goes from the eastern side of Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, in that direction, all the way up through Texas into Canada. By the way, the interstate freeway system was created for the military. Go check that out. Nick, I'm sure you knew that one. Check that out. By the way, some of these, I just want to give a little side note to transportation here. I just want to give a little side note. Have you noticed that in the past 6 months to a year or more, there have been numerous earthquakes in areas not known for earthquakes? What's that tell you? Well, let's add that to this. Continuous construction in and around Denver International Airport. Can we put two and two together, folks? People who, contractors who worked out there and in other places as well, have come out and said that yes, there are tunnels underneath the Denver International Airport. Former contractors and even people that have been fired off of the project. What about that house that was built on a hill out in the Ozarks? Hello. Underground tunnels. Earthquakes in places not known for earthquakes. Anywhere between 2.8 and 4.6. To me, folks, 1 plus 1 still equals 2. I don't know what you think it is. Just saying. Yes, Guy Shea is absolutely positively 100% because it was created by DARPA and a few of the universities in 1968. The internet he's talking about. The internet was created for military and universities. Duck Landis, who is on Spreaker as well, has had the internet since 1987. I remember going to high school, a sophomore in high school in 1977, and I remember someone saying, hey, come to the computer room. I did. Guess what? Remember that little dial-up tone people used to have? Yeah, I heard that, and the guy took the phone headset, put it on this cradle, boom, he was on the internet. He was playing chess with somebody somewhere. 1977, folks. It was built for the military. The internet was built for the military. Now it's, yeah. I don't know, folks. I mean, we have the ability to say no. By the way, did you check out this last election cycle? There was only, 48% of the American people actually voted? That was higher than the year before, than the last election cycle with Bush. With when Obama ran in 2008, but before that. Oh, and by the way, did you know that a poll showed that 53% of the American people want socialism? Are they stupid? Yes. Yeah, Guy Shea, you're right, man. I'm former military. I was in Chanute Air Force Base. I went through a training course and saw one of the Burroughs 3600 computers. Black screen, green lettering, that kind of thing. I saw the disk drive that was running it. Holy crap, that thing was big. It was the size of a small apartment-sized refrigerator. That thing was silly looking, man. And the tape drives. Yeah, I remember. I'm old enough. God. But remember, again, my point is we have the ability to say no. I do not recognize the executive orders as being a part of the Constitution of the United States of America. I recognize the Constitution and the Bill of Rights as the rule of law in which I will follow, as well as probably millions of other people will follow. I do not recognize, nor will I follow, any executive order from this current regime we have residing in Washington, D.C. President Obama was in Jeremiah Wright's church listening to liberation theology for 20 years. So don't give me this crap that he doesn't, oh, he's a Christian. Oh, he's this. Oh, he had a heart today. He was almost crying because... Yeah. Think about this, folks. I have this question that has been eating at me for the last hour and a half. Think about this question for a minute. If you had the opportunity, if you were in an area of life and you had the opportunity to be the most powerful man in the free world, knowing full well that people would criticize you and yell at you and you'll have gray hair in 4 years or whatever it is. Would you, knowing what you know now, take that opportunity and change things regardless of what your handlers would say? Because, former cabinet members, I believe from the Nixon and Ford administration, former cabinet members have come out and said, hey, when a person is elected president and they walk in that Oval Office, they don't walk in there alone. 2 or 3 people in suits walk in and say, hey, great, Mr. President, yeah, Barack Obama, yeah, we heard what you said on the campaign trail. That's all good and everything. But here's what's actually going to happen, and here's your marching orders from the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, from the New World Order people at Bilderberg. This is what you're actually going to do. Here's what you're going to tell the public. Here's what you're going to do in private. And here's who's actually running the whole thing. I wonder if President Obama has gone down to Bohemian Grove yet. Seriously. Exactly. I'm just sorry for the silence. I'm reading the comments in the Spreaker chat. Exactly, Guy. You are I'll give you a virtual high five on that one. There you go. We have a Second Amendment to keep our government in order, period. The government, Washington, D.C., does not control us. We control them. I think they forgot that we're their boss. Okay? But on a much stronger note, that if they start infringing upon our rights, impinging their agendas on our constitutionally protected rights, we have a Second Amendment that tells them, you're not going to do that. Okay? The government, I say government, I'm going to specifically say Washington, D.C. has the, no pun intended, audacity to get in their little pea minds, their little limited, fluoride, gutted, GMO branded minds. They have the audacity to think that you and I are stupid. Okay? They do. they really do. Then answer this question. A few months back, probably the beginning of this year, maybe April, May, possibly June. If Washington, D.C. thinks we're stupid, then why in 1 month alone, did the FBI run 5 million background checks on people wanting to purchase handguns? I don't know what the outcome of that was. I have no idea. But I know that with any law that is contradictory to our protected constitutional rights, any law, any executive order coming out of that Washington, D.C. executive branch is a violation of our constitutional protected rights. They are violating everything in the Constitution when they put their hand on the Bible and raised their hand and said that they would defend the Constitution of the United States of America against enemies foreign and domestic. I had to do that when I went in the military. And I hold that to today. I defend the Constitution of the United States of America with my life from enemies foreign and domestic. Okay? Now I want to say this. We got like 4.5 minutes left, so I want to say this. I will not. I'm just saying it right now. I will not put up with anybody trying to take my rights away. I'm a forgiving person. Mama didn't raise no fool. Grandma taught me better. But you start messing around with my rights, you start messing around with friends of mine, you start bad-mouthing other people, and it affects me, you're going to have to answer to me. And that goes for the government. It goes for anything, just in general, nothing specific, but I'll be specific. Washington, D.C. and the minions up there and the fascists up there and the Goldman Sachs boys in Washington, D.C. want to take my guns away from me. If they want to implement a United Nations Small Arms Trade Treaty, which Secretary of State Hillary Clinton tried to push through the UN and get signed by the end of the year, which never happens. If the UN wants to try to take my guns away, take your guns away. I may totally disagree with your opinion on things, but if you're standing there protecting your family, protecting your city, I'm going to stand right there next to you, protecting you and protecting everybody else around us, because we have a constitutional right to do so. We have an obligation to humanity because we were given rights. Endowed by our Creator, insert name of deity there, inalienable rights, or as some would say, unalienable rights, which cannot be taken away by anybody. I will stand right there next to you, and I'll help you defend. I may disagree with you wholeheartedly about a lot of issues, but guess what? I'm going to be right there defending your constitutional rights. You bet I am. That's the thing that I wanted to get out too. I may disagree with a whole lot of people. People may disagree with me. People might have issues that I get a little bent out of shape when people differ with my opinions. You know what? It's called standing on what you believe. It's called taking into heart what you know, what you understand, and you stand on that. Yeah, I take issue with people differing with me in my opinion. But remember this, please, because it's something that's very important. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody is going to have a preconceived idea. I only take issue with people that disagree with my opinions because they can't back anything up. I have not yet seen anybody come to me backing anything up of why they disagree with me and why they think my opinion's wrong. I haven't. I'm just saying. You know? Seriously. Hey, folks, if you want to get a hold of me, you can. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Check out Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, please. And the website, freeamericaradio.wix.com/The Views Expressed. Guy, Nick, you guys are awesome. Daryl, thank you guys for dropping in the chat box. Thank you very much. If you guys want to email me, you can. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. See you guys later. Remember this. We the people have the power, for we are America.